Active Investor here, bringing you another independent analysis. This time we're taking another look at ticker symbol MGT. That's Management Capital Investments, also known as McAfee Global Technologies. The chart we have today is a 30-minute chart. Each candlestick representing 30 minutes of trading. So we go back 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 days on the chart here. And the reason why I want to focus on this range of 6 days is because that's when we had that initial selling off. And we see that right after we had that selling off, we went down here and channeled along between these two areas of $3.20 and $2.50. Well, rather $2.55. So we had that channel between $2.55 and $3.20, and we were hanging out there for the last trading week. And today we broke that channel, but we broke it to the downside. The next support is all the way at $2, but we're at about $2.20 now. So that's about 10% more of a decrease. You can't see it on this chart because it's just barely cut off, but just know that there is support at $2. So the three main areas to remember for the short term is going to be $2, $2.55, and $3.20. So we channeled between $3.20 and $2.55 for quite a while, for 5 days. You can see we had $3.20 as support here, and then we broke down below it. Bounced off $2.55, $3.20 became resistance, bounced off $2.55, came back around and channeled for a bit, tested $3.20 right there on that wick, channeled again, tested it again, and we broke up. We couldn't hold $3.20, just kind of hung out there for a bit, broke above it again, tested it as support here, broke down below, and then we just kind of trailed off. $2.55 didn't even hold at all as support when we tested it here, just one candle wiping the whole thing out, and then we were testing $2.55 again as resistance on those two candles. So indeed, $3.20 and $2.55, very solid pivot points. You don't see it on this chart as well, but $2 also a very solid pivot point. But unfortunately, since our candles are now down here, trading around $2.20, that means we're now going to have resistance at $2.55 and $3.20. $2 will be support. So what we want to see is we want to see $2 hold, and ideally we don't go down there and test it. Ideally we push up here above $2.55 and hold above $2.55 and work our way up to $3.20 and turn that to support as well. However, there's quite a lot of things working against us on this chart. Let's take a look at some more of our indicators. So on this chart we have the Ichimoku cloud, one of my favorites. Now you can see that the cloud is actually above our candles. Now that's not good. We see that once again on this chart the rest of it's cut off, but the whole time MGT was running we were above the cloud, and then we had the selling off and that put us below the cloud. Now right around here we did break out of the cloud and we had a chance. That's when we tested $3.20 again, but the resistance at $3.20 was just too much and we couldn't hold those levels. Also confirming that is the fact that our Kijun line broke above the Tenkin line. The Tenkin, that blue bullish line, was above the Kijun momentarily, but we got denied here. The Kijun came back and wiped us out. So we're below the cloud. Not only are we below the cloud, but we have the Kijun, that orange bearish line, above the blue Tenkin line, so that's also bearish. And on top of that, our candles are below both the Tenkin and the Kijun, so that's also bearish. Moving down to the relative strength index, we're oversold, so that's also bearish once again. However, we want to see that this oversold, rather this relative strength index, pushes up to the 20 line. If it pushes up to the 20 line and breaks it, that's when we can see maybe a test of $2.55. And if we actually get overbought on the relative strength index, that's when we have a chance at pushing back up to $3.20. But if we keep hanging out here oversold, this thing is just going to keep tanking. Good example of that is over here. The whole time we were oversold, look what happened to our price. We went from about $5.20 all the way down to about $2.20. We don't want this thing to be oversold. We want it to be overbought. If it's overbought, that means there's a lot of buying pressure, and that's when we might see this thing start running up. So what am I going to be watching out for? I'm going to be watching for a test of $2.55. I want that to turn into support, so I want us to break above $2.55. As we do that, I want to see the relative strength index break above the 20 line. Then, as we move our way up to $3.20, I want to see that relative strength index get above the 80 line so we can get into our bullish overbought area. As that happens, I'm confident that that blue bullish Tenkin line will start inching its way up to cross above the Kaizen line. We'll have the we'll have the Tenkan cross, which is a bullish reversal sign. Not only that, but if all that does happen, we will also be above the cloud. So that's what I want to see for this thing to start looking good again. As it looks now, I hate to say it, but it looks pretty bad. And hopefully we don't go down and test $2. Hopefully we test 255 as resistance and break above it. That's all I have to say about MGT. I'll be keeping an eye on this, and you know what? The only good thing that I will say about MGT right now is the fact that even though we had all that selling off, we're still at about $2.20, which is still way higher than the 30 cents it was trading at a few weeks ago. So this thing is still holding up its gains fairly well. We just got to see a few signs turn this into a bullish reversal from this downtrend that we're currently in. Hope this video helped you guys out. Any questions or comments, leave some comments below. I will check that out, and I'll catch you in the next video. Take care.